Hello, this is David Taylor Klaus, and it's Mindset Mondays with DTK. So this is episode 25, and just to give you a quick request. So if you'll click the share button and invite your friends in your community to join in the conversation. Reason is, this is part of actually almost in the middle of a year-long program designed for folks who have a growth mindset or who would like to develop one to play with new ideas, new concepts, new mindsets. So today, here's what we're playing with today. There are two great days in a person's life: the day we're born and the day we discover why. So it's interesting, I've been asked before why I assist in training new coaches and why I mentor new coaches. And it's interesting. I think this is the quote. And, this is sort of one of those, this just figured out why. For the last 8 years, since I was most of the way through my initial training and certification, I started assisting in delivery of coach training classes for CTI, Coaches Training Institute. And it's interesting. I used to think I did it because it kept me, or just did it because it kept me in touch with the model. Because it does. It gives me a re-immersion into the model every time I go through one of the programs or the full series with a group of new coaches. I realize there's also a piece of, I get to witness the second piece here. I get to witness this second day, the day that people discover why. And it's remarkable. Lane tells the story that she got to coach training and called home Friday during the first break, and she called home in tears going, I found it. And, I had a very similar experience, that when I discovered coaching and went through the beginning of the training, it was the same feeling that I'd found what I was here for. Look, I spent a decade in hospitality. I spent 15, almost 20 years in technology and loved what I was doing. And for much of the time, even liked who I was in that space. And there's a difference. I found coaching and found what I'm here for. It fits with the work that I feel like I'm on this planet to do. And I get to witness people figuring that out. I get to witness people clicking, the light bulb flicking on, and people realizing what they're here for. There are two great days in a person's life: the day we're born and the day we discover why. And that epiphanous moment is amazing to witness. Yeah, it's pretty outrageous to feel as well. And it's incredible to witness other people come to that realization. Other people realizing why they're here. And I think the playground here today is to play with, what are you here for? I've talked about before, if you've got a pulse, you've got time. It's never too late to experience that second day. It's never too late to experience the discovery of why you're here. Went through CTI's leadership program in 2009 and 2010. And we had people in our course ranging from in their 30s to early 70s. It is never too late to unleash. It's never too late to discover what we're here for. It's never too late for that second day. So what are you waiting for? Have you taken the time, the pause, to discover what you're here for? I'm not sure if Keith is on live with us today, but a friend of mine, Keith, just went to Tibet. He just went traveling and including time in Tibet. And it was interesting. We had talked about getting together to play with the idea of what he's here for. And And, he talked about looking for a new career here, looking for a new career there, and looking at what he wanted to do before he left for this 2 to 3 month sojourn, and realized anything that we were going to do before he left, before he went on this trip, before he had the time to stew and to wallow in it and to get a better picture of who he was, and said it really didn't make a lot of sense, because the person that was going to come back from that trip was going to be a completely different human, new experiences, new sense of self. And he and I are scheduled to get together this week, so more on this later. Because that really is the opportunity, taking the chance, creating the space to pause and to reflect and to think and to experiment and see, what are you here for? Is it the work you're already doing? Yeah, that's a blessing, isn't it? Or is it something new for you to explore? I mean, yeah, I love this. Marion's a coach as well. Purpose, passion, and potential is a big part of why she coaches. And I maintain that's a big part of why we're here. Each of us is not necessarily to be the coach to help folks unleash that and unearth that, but my goodness, to find it ourselves. We're not just here to slog through. This is not an endurance match to see how well we can slog through. Why we're here is why we're here. Figuring out what it is that we've been placed on this rock for. I don't take this as this big, immense, figure it out thing. This is really much more about, wow, taking the time to let it come, taking the time and the pause to let the awareness bubble up. What's the saying? And many of you heard me say it before. It's let go and let it come. It's let go of the attachment. Let go of trying to figure it out. It's like if your brow is furrowed, you're working too hard to figure it out, because that's not where it is. It's a lot more of feeling it out. Whether it's heart or gut for you, it doesn't matter. It's below your neck. And I spent a long time trying to figure it out. It's funny, it doesn't work that way. It's more the opportunity to feel it out. So where are you when it comes to your second day, when it comes to figuring out why you were born? Look, you had no control over the first one. We have no control over the day that we're born, right? None. But we do have complete domain over the second, discovering why. It doesn't usually sneak up behind you and slap you on the head. It's something you have to sit still and think about. That's your opportunity. So where do you create the space and the time to feel these things out? I did that ride last week up to Vail Pass, and our friends that joined us later in the week, as we drove part of the route that I had taken, they said, why do you do this? And well, also, and how. And a lot of it was we talked about, what I realized is a lot of gamification, a lot of playing with ideas and playing with the road and what I'm doing in my head to keep me present and focused. But also, that's the place where I turn ideas over. That's the place where ideas germinate. That's the place where clarity comes. I think one of the reasons that I enjoy writing that much is because it does give me the place where the body's completely occupied, lungs definitely, and it gives my brain an opportunity to go off on its own. And much like I love being part of training new coaches and mentoring new coaches and being there and helping facilitate that discovery for them, I also love that brain playground space. So I have place in my world for that. Where do you have place in your world for letting new ideas come up and playing with new ideas? It's more than just 15 minutes on a live broadcast with somebody. This is about where do you leave space in your world to think and to stew and to come up with ideas and to let go and let the information come. Are you creating that space? What are you waiting for? Right? There's your opportunity. Discovering why. I wonder if it would feel more accurate if it was 2 great days in a person's life, the day we are born and the day that we unleash why, we uncover why. So have you taken the time to figure out what you're here for? Have you had that experience? Have you experienced your second day yet, that discovering why? Where can you this week create space for that discovery to happen? Where can you allow that discovery to bubble up? Where can you change your patterns, change your behaviors, welcome something new in? It's the last couple days of July right now. We're in the second half of the year. So how will you allow this new awareness to come up? Nothing more powerful than the fuel of knowing what you're here for. It's that quote I keep from Stephen Covey. I keep on my laptop. How different our lives are when we really know what is deeply important to us. And keeping that picture in mind, we manage ourselves each day to be and to do what really matters most. It starts with knowing what's deeply important, what we're here for. So I'm going to invite you to do a couple things. One is definitely come to facebook.com/group/Mindset Mondays and join the conversation. Step into this playground of new mindsets and creating space for you to figure out what you're here for and have that second day, that discovery. And also create that space, create that time. Set aside space for you to figure out what you're here for. That discovery is rocket fuel for the soul. That awareness is brilliant energy available to you to create something new, something next, something more. So that's the invitation this week. Join the conversation and create some space for you to have that conversation with yourself. So until next week, what mindset will you choose?